Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Momoa and Lottie, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all of that good and nerdy stuff. And I want to say happy 2025. Welcome to the new year. The world's not on fire yet, but give it some time. They started in California, unfortunately. So, that sucks what's going on out in California. Hopefully they're able to contain the wildfires out there. I'm not trying to be facetious about their situation, but it is a weird and wild start to 2025 in January. It's proving to be difficult. So we're trying not to freeze our butt down here in Florida. And we're going to keep ourselves warm by talking about and looking at all that good superhero goodness that's coming forth in this very month. We got, what is it? Harley Quinn's coming out soon. I know Invincible's coming out soon. We got so much going on. So before we talk about all that, I want to say what's up to my good friend Lottie. Lottie, my friend, how you doing this evening? And what you been up to that's nerdy, man?
Speaking of like happy holidays, everybody. I know it's been a while since we've been on. What have I been doing nerdy? Like that's an understatement. I started watching Dawn to Dawn, the new anime, Dragon Ball Daima, playing a bunch of video games. I've watched it. Being nerdy over the break when you actually have time to do stuff is it's an understatement.
Yeah. But what you weren't doing was watching What If season 3.
Yeah,
I knew you weren't.
Honestly, I gotta get I gotta get my brother to get back on his Disney Plus because it's kind of like hasn't had in it because him and his like ex-wife, I guess she has the password and it hasn't changed. I don't know.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
I had that problem briefly too, but I just started my own. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you could just always start a new one. I'm just saying. So yeah, I mean, as far as me, my nerdy stuff, I got caught up on Star Wars Skeleton Crew. That's a fun little show. Especially the most recent episode was really good. I actually need to watch the one that came out yesterday, but it's been pretty cool catching up on that. I started my Daredevil rewatch like properly. I've been watching. First season is amazing. Like I can't wait to get through. We got March 3rd is when the new season of Daredevil Born Again starts. So I want to get through Daredevil season 1 through 3 and Punisher season 1 and 2 because they are both in the new show. So that's been fun. Otherwise, I've been knee deep, elbows deep, whatever you want to call it, and working on a new project for Blurred Force One. Lottie knows what that's all about. And so you guys will learn more about it if you just check back on the channel. It's going to be really fun, especially if you are a big fan of Marvel movies. So just keep an eye out for that and the announcement on the channel. So with all that being said, we got plenty of stuff to talk about. The new year is starting off really well, actually. Like I said, we have some stuff to look forward to. 2025 is a big year for superhero comics, not comics, but superhero comic book movies and TV shows. Marvel's going big on Disney Plus. Superman's coming out. We got so much to go on, talk about. But before we talk about 2025, let's look back at what was great about 2024. And also, we're going to talk about these news items. So, a recast T'Challa? Who knows? Maybe. That's been running around again on the internet. Creature Commandos gets another season, and James Gunn talks about the release schedule for Creature Commandos, and I suspect for the DC shows moving forward. There's a unfortunate bit of news for the Batman Part 2 for you guys that have been anxiously awaiting it, and an explanation of what's going on there. Jason Momoa, he joins the DCU. Who's he going to be? Surprise, surprise. Someone that everyone thought he should have been years ago. We're going to talk about Kraven the Hunter belly flopping straight into the shark infested waters at the box office, and how Sony basically screwed up screwed up the Spider-less universe, and the repercussions of that. And then, as I said, we are going to talk about the best superhero media, for us at least, of 2024. So Lottie, my friend, are you ready to get into this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. So Lottie, do you remember? Well, of course you remember. We both love Black Panther. We were all shocked. We were both shocked and saddened when Chadwick Boseman passed away, right? And we immediately, and once we got over the shock and everything, the question was, what now for Black Panther? Are you going to recast who's going to be the new T'Challa? And Marvel didn't do that. They instead moved forward without T'Challa as a character. He is dead in the MCU right now. And so that didn't stop fans from saying hashtag recast T'Challa, right? And we've talked about this several times on this show. We talked about it several times about the move to recast T'Challa, whether or not it was a good or bad idea for them not to do it. And this thing just doesn't die. It's a little more wholesome than the, restore the Snyderverse, but it's still a thing with fans not really accepting that Marvel's moved on. So to that end, Lottie, why are they throwing gas on this fire? Why are they doing this? I'm just trying to figure this out. There's a rumor going. Now, this is just a rumor. So an insider is, and I can't remember which rumor people it is. Whatever, one of the rumor peoples on social media is talking about that they are talking about at Marvel Studios recasting T'Challa. So, Lottie, not just throwing gas on the fire, but getting people's hopes up, man. And like, how real do you think this is? And if it is real, is this something, is this something that you want to see? And if who would you want to see in this role?
You're going to be a little surprised at my answer. I think
Well,
this is 100% about to happen. You know
okay.
why? Multiverse theory. It's going to happen. Trust me. It's going to happen. They're bringing everyone back, man. I mean, of course, they can't bring back Chadwick Boseman because he passed away. But all the characters that have died in the MCU, they're coming back in some form or fashion. It's going to happen. I'm at 100%. This is not even like I fully believe it, and I really don't have someone in mind that they'll pick, but they're going to get. There's going to be Black Panther's going to be in. T'Challa's going to be recasted. It's. I'm not. I'm at the point that it's like I don't even like. In my opinion, I almost think it's almost foolish to think it won't happen.
No, I actually 100% agree with you, and I do believe this is true. Oh, in the sense that you said it, it's the multiverse. So yes, there's going to be a Reed Richards. We've already had one. He turned into spaghetti, right? And now we're
Yeah.
getting another one, and he is not from the MCU mainline continuity. He's from a different universe, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get a Steve. Remember, they're talking about Chris Evans coming back as an alternate universe Steve Rogers, right? We have RDJ is coming back as an alternate, Tony Stark. That's Doctor Doom. So it makes sense to me that there's gonna be an alternate universe T'Challa somewhere. He didn't die in every universe, and so this is a little bit of giving the fans what they want, the same way they did with John Krasinski, but also making it make sense within the multiversal framework. Now, the question is this the replacement for Chad Boseman in the mainline MCU? And I don't think that's it. I think they've picked a lane when it comes to the mainline MCU, and they're going to go with it. They're already setting up T'Challa Jr. to kind of take on his dad's legacy anyway, right? And at the rate at which these movies come out, that kid is going to be 13 or 14 by the time, the next Wakanda movie comes out. So I'm not I ain't looking forward to we're going to get whatever, hot black male actor into this role, which would be cool. Right. There's a bunch of guys that could do it. I mean, they can't have Aaron Pierre because, he's Green Lantern, right? And he's Jon Stewart. But there's a bunch of guys. Damson Idris is available, Aldous Hodge, he was just Hawkman and Black Adam. So he's available. I mean, look, any of these guys could do it. And honestly, I'm all for it. Why not? Let's drive home the idea of the multiverse. And it's not just wacky people, doing weird things in the animated What If movie or a TV show, but actually in the movie we can see someone who's very close to the T'Challa we know. And also, Lottie, we might not even see this T'Challa's face, right? He could just be in the mask the whole damn time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's going to happen, personally. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on that. Hashtag recast T'Challa and, colon just for this one movie, probably. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know when or if we find out more information. Lottie, I know you've been watching Creature Commandos, right? I've been watching it. Everybody seems to be watching it. If you were a nerd that likes comic book stuff, you've been watching this, and it is dope, right? The season finale coming on tomorrow. But more importantly, if you guys have been loving this, Lottie, this is great news for you. I know they are renewing Creature Commandos. It is getting a second season. Lottie, are you surprised by this at all?
No. James Gunn has done it again. I've already told people, man, James Gunn has been on a fucking hot streak. I'm like, James Gunn low key has been making fucking bangers for the last couple, man. And this Creature Commandos is good. Again, the man somehow is putting us in the house of pain, but with every single one of these characters, just randomly, every episode, backstory. I'm like, God, man, somehow is making you feel bad for a robot that wants to kill Nazis. You know what I mean? Like, God, man. I already know when he does the episode with the fish woman. Oh, it's gonna be sad. I know her backstory is probably the worst one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we're talking Nina. Yeah. I'm not surprised at all either. Then the same way that Peacemaker got a season 2, James Gunn loves these characters and he knows what he's doing with them. He knows he knows where he wants to go with it. Oh, and surprise, he's in charge, so he can greenlight stuff too. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's just greenlighting all his shit, but he's greenlighting all his shit. But to be fair, he knows his own sensibilities well enough and where all this is going. And he's got a good idea. And also, and this is going to play into what we're about to talk about, he knows the reception of these characters. And so it only makes sense that something that's working, keeping it going, right? And the great thing about the DCU, besides the fact, they're telling stories in a unified universe and all that other stuff, but since this is TV, there is room for just continuing the story, right? Because in movies, you got a finite story. You may have 3 movies telling kind of a trilogy, kind of a connected story, but that's years apart. Whereas with this, probably we're going to get Creature Commandos in another year and a half. Maybe more. Remember, here's one thing, and we're going to talk about this later too. James Gunn, what did he say? We don't greenlight things if there ain't scripts. Or in this case, he's got a storyline in mind for season 2. Right? So they can they can crank out the stories and to kind of fill in the time between the movies. It makes sense to me. Marvel should be doing this. I think that's the thing is Marvel doesn't think like this. They don't think about TV the way other people think about TV. Their movie,
Yeah.
their TV is like movies, and so they can have 3, 4, 5 year gaps between seasons, whereas this one is more like traditional TV. We're gonna tell more stories going forward, so I'm not surprised by this. But also speaking of that, Lottie, I think James Gunn's he's got the right sensibilities about a lot of things. He said people were asking like, why didn't you just drop all of these episodes at once? You got Max, just drop them all at once so we can binge them all, right? And Lottie, he was like, no, why the hell would we do that? Remember, we talk about this, right? When we were watching X-Men 97 last year, right? If
Hmm.
they had dropped that all at once, that'd have been the dumbest fucking thing that Disney had done.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? The
Yeah.
dumbest thing. Because every week, every single week, fire, right? And we spent the whole week talking about, God dang, this shit is good, right? And we're doing the
Yeah.
same thing right now. Lottie, I mean, like, it makes sense, right? He says we're gonna do it weekly because it just makes sense for growing the viewership, right?
I completely agree. I don't know why, because like you said, you just gave me flashbacks to uh to the X-Men 97. One of the best parts about X-Men 97 was the weekly discussions on threads, because we were like, this motherfucker, right? I remember we would be talking about stuff like that on threads. I remember when you had that thing where you were talking about Magneto when he said, shut up. You said that I felt that shut up from the deepest. Oh man. But yeah, Creature Commandos, I actually enjoy because in my opinion, Creature Commandos is a show that should be taken in once a week because there's a lot of shit that happens in one episode. Like, you have a good show when your 30 minutes feels longer than 30 minutes because there's a lot of shit happening. I mean, it's a action comedy show, but James Gunn has a way of putting a lot of depth and a lot of stuff happening on screen, even though at the end of the day, it's just a comedy action show. And man, yeah, if he dropped it all at once, I think it would have definitely killed the momentum of the show. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense to me. I think honestly, this is also a function of understanding what you're doing for TV, right? Because remember, we watched Peacemaker, and James Gunn hadn't written a TV show before. I don't know if he'd ever written actual TV episodes, but he had never written a whole TV show. And just episode to episode, it's again another one of those things. Episode to episode, it just like gets better and better and builds up, and people are talking and everything. And that's how you do TV, especially prestige TV. And that's pretty much what streaming is. It's prestige TV, but people have been chasing this Netflix drop everything at once bullshit. And in that way, only the absolute cream of the crop TV shows ever get talked about, right? House
Yeah.
of the Dragon gets talked about everywhere. That's what I'm talking. Last of Us. This makes all the sense in the world to me, and I'm really glad that he's a studio head. So he's saying this straight up, like we are not doing this binge model. We're not doing that. We're not killing our projects and killing interest in our projects by dropping all at once. I love that. Love to see it. Can't wait to see them continue. They're going to do that for Lanterns. So I'm really looking forward to more of what DC Studios is doing on TV because they seem to have a studio head that has the right idea. Continuing to talk about DC Studios, they got a lot of stuff going on right now. Lottie, I gotta disappoint you right now,
Hmm.
sir. Um, Go ahead and purchase your tickets for the Batman 2 and put them on layaway as people have said in the past. Go ahead and put them on layaway. By the time this movie comes out, they may need to be on layaway. I say how expensive the ticket's gonna be. This not coming out until 27, my friend. Remember? Do you remember when
That movie,
the Batman came out?
that
Wasn't that
movie
like
doesn't
2 years
exist.
ago? Wasn't that like 2 years ago? Was
3 years ago.
was it 3 years ago?
It's 2022. The movie doesn't exist. Doesn't
Oh,
exist.
well, oddly enough, that's kind of true. It exists in the sense that they are working on it, but James Gunn said straight up, Matt Reeves is still working on the script. Matt Reeves is still working on the script. Lottie.
Oh, Jesus.
The only reason why James Gunn is like, this is definitely coming is one, because they had already agreed to, DC already agreed to make this before Gunn and Safran took over DC Studios. But obviously the Batman was a huge hit. Matt Reeves is a great talent who just as a producer helped them deliver Penguin, which was a big hit, right? And also Kristen Milioti was robbed at the Golden Globes. Just saying, was robbed, but so he just helped deliver a big hit, right? And Matt Reeves, as the leader for the Batman side of the universe of the DC Studios, projects, has Colin Farrell, has Kristen Milioti, right? For the Penguin, right? He got Robert Pattinson. He's got Andy Serkis. That was all people attached to this part of the universe. They are gonna make this movie, even though the script's not done, right? But the script's not done. And remember it, Lottie, you remember how long it took for the Batman to be done? Remember that? This shit was supposed to come out before the pandemic. The shit was in progress before the pandemic. So we're talking about it's 2025. So 5 years ago. And they delayed it because they delayed it almost 2 years because of the pandemic. And because he was taking his long ass time to get to it. So Lottie, that's how you feeling about this? So I know you love the Batman. How you feeling about this?
Honestly, man, I would be more mad if the Penguin wasn't a fucking banger. Take as much time as you want, damn it. I'm at the point now that the Penguin was so fucking good. The Batman was so fucking good. Listen, motherfucker, let that shit bake. Let that shit brew. I'm fine. I mean, I know I would love to have that movie right now, but listen, I'm okay with waiting. I
So,
mean, technically, 27, that movie doesn't exist to me, but it'll come out eventually.
so in other words, you're that meme with Woody and that from Kingdom Hearts. Hold up, let them cook.
Let them cook.
Let
Hold
them
up, let them cook. Everybody else is ready to get pitchforks. I'm in the back like, hold up, let them cook.
I just need Matt Reeves to get, man, you need to put pen to paper, dog. Get up and finish that script.
I agree.
Come on, man. It's 2027 is 2 years from now. And your script ain't done. You know how much work you got to do to get this. I ain't gonna start.
And what part of 2027?
It's gonna be Christmas at this point. If he ain't done with it, if the script's not done.
Technically this could be This could be like technically 3 years because 2025 just started.
And he ain't even. They're supposed to start filming this year, but the script's not done.
Yeah,
and then until the script is done, none of the gears start moving. And you're talking, and it better be 90% practical. This shit better be 90% practical and 10% CG, because I'm just saying that's you're asking an awful lot. So we'll see. And we ain't even talked about the fact that without the script ain't locked. That means pre-production hasn't happened. Pre-production hasn't happened. That means that agents have not started negotiating for scheduling so they can figure out when to film. That's what people don't even think about that. You can have the script, you can have pre-production done, you got the sets, all that stuff, but you got to get all of the talent in the same place at the same time for 3 months, at least. You know know how hard that is? Like that's the reason why agents exist, so they can all figure out when the fuck are we all free for 3 months. So I don't know. We gonna see. Matt Reeves, dog, I need you to get writing. That's all I'm saying. Just get writing. You the hold up. You are holding up the train. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know more about that. Oh, I guess we should we should talk about this too, since we're talking about Matt Reeves and the Batman. Lottie, do you remember in Creature Commandos, the episode where we're talking about Dr. Phosphorus and how he became who he was? Everyone was flipping out. You saw that? Everybody on social media flipping out. Because we finally saw the first glimpse of the DCU's Batman. This is the DCU's Batman, right? First, they call it. They were saying he was thick too. THICC. I don't know if you saw that. They're talking about he was thick, but but it was just a silhouette. We didn't see him at all. James Gunn was like, no, I want it to be silhouette because I don't want to be locked into what the Batman actually looks like, right? So he's just in silhouette anyway. But that did bring a lot of speculation. Who is going to be the DCU's Batman? And James Gunn did not rule out. He didn't shoot down the possibility, and neither did Matt Reeves either. They're both very cagey about this. They did not shoot down the possibility that Pattinson will be the DCU's Batman. Lottie, what do you think about that, man?
Please, for the love of God, yes, for the love of God, please do it. I need it.
Well,
make it worth the wait, damn it.
Wouldn't that make Catwoman Zoe Kravitz be the DCU's Catwoman also? But that's beside. Remember what Batman's supposed to be in the DCU. World's Finest is supposed to be his movie, where it's a Bat family movie. It's not a Batman movie. It's a Bat family movie. That's him.
Yeah, so Batman is older.
Him with Damian as his kid, right? And and I believe Dick Grayson is also, because remember, there's also that animated Robin movie or Nightwing, whatever movie, where it's Damian and Dick Grayson who are both gonna be in it, right?
Because Damian is the last Robin.
Yeah,
it's Dick, Drake, and then Damian.
Yeah. And Jason Todd also. So there's four.
Todd is the second.
And also there's another one, but she is in the far future for the Dark Knight Returns. But whatever. The point I'm making here is Pattinson. Imagine Pattinson, but now he has a Robin. He has a son that's Robin. He has a former protege that is now Nightwing. Plus the other Bat. So I'm assuming maybe we either get Oracle or we get Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Right? Possibly Huntress, right? And then there's also, remember, so there's a big Bat family going on here. And Pattinson would be the patriarch, if you will, of this family. Do you see him in that role from what we've seen in the Batman so far?
I could see him be developing into that, honestly. I think he deserves the right to develop into that version of Batman. Some people will say he doesn't, but he's done such a good job at Batman, in my opinion. He deserves that right.
He's gonna be Zaddy Batman.
Zaddy Batman.
You know what? I say fine. Honestly, can I be perfectly frank? I really, whoever the Batman is, I'm be fine. If it's Pattinson, cool. That's fine with me. I liked him as Batman. If it's somebody else, that's cool too. The thing is the Batman, like the Pattinson's Batman could be that, kind of stick in the mud sort of Batman that we sometimes see in Justice League or whatever. He's real super serious and everything like that. He could be that guy. I think though the Batman I'm envisioning is that Justice League Unlimited one. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that he knows every fucking thing that's happening, right? He steps ahead of everybody else. He's got the tech, right? Even in a fight on Apocalypse, he is well prepared to be a factor in that fight. I want Pattinson to be that, right? Because let's be honest, in the Batman, as great as it is, he got crossed up by a fucking incel like conspiracy theorist guy. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? He got crossed up by oh boy.
Oh, he did.
And Riddler Riddler put him through it. So he ain't there yet. Obviously this is Batman like year 2 or whatever, but if he's in the DCU, he better be Batman year 12. And he got his shit together, because I ain't gonna believe that this Pattinson, I don't believe him standing next to Superman. I just don't. He's not ready to be standing next to Superman. Now, maybe 12 years later, when he's in his 30s, he's near his 40s, maybe he is ready to be, the guy that stands shoulder to shoulder with Superman. But at this point that we've seen him, no, I don't think so. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully we'll get some kind of confirmation and let you guys know all about it. So last bit of DC news, Lottie. And this is what I call a no shit moment. Do you remember when DC, we knew DC EU was going away and everything like that, and we're like, oh no, because we loved Aquaman, even if Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was kind of whatever, but we're like, oh man, he's the best thing about the DCU. What are we gonna do? We'll never see him in a DC thing again. And then he went and had a talk with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and he came out, he's like, whoa. Right? So Lottie, when that happened, what did you think he was wooing about?
Oh, I knew they were keeping him. They definitely knew. We all knew it. Bro, this was rumored. This was rumored about him doing this even before James Gunn took over for the DCEU.
It's very true.
And you already know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's confirmed officially. James Gunn said, Jason Momoa is going to be DC's Lobo. And 0 people were surprised that follow any of this stuff. Like 0% of the people were surprised. And then everyone who doesn't follow this stuff was like, who the fuck is Lobo? Right? Like, who the fuck is Lobo? Lottie, who let everyone know who doesn't know. Who the fuck is Lobo?
Jason Momoa.
Why I know that. I mean the character.
He's Jason Momoa.
So you're saying Lobo, the character, is basically just Jason Momoa with superpowers that can beat up Clark Kent or beat up Superman.
You want to know who Jason Momoa is? I mean, you want to know who Lobo is? Imagine Jason Momoa on an intergalactic bike with Superman powers. There you go. That's all you need to know. It's Jason Momoa. Just think of the human being named Jason Momoa riding around on a bike that can go to different planets. A literal bike that can cross galaxies.
Right.
And can beat up Superman. There you go. That's all you need to know.
Didn't we sort of see a pastiche of him in season 2 of Invincible? I forget what they called him, but he had the Red Rider, something Rider.
Yeah.
And he had the gun that would shoot that shot, and the thing could kill Viltrumites. Yeah. So yeah. Again, ain't nobody surprised by this. I'm happy that they finally just came out and said it. I also think that by confirming him, that also means we will be seeing him soon. And because he's not, are we likely to have a Lobo movie? Are we likely to have a Lobo TV series? That's a little more likely. right? I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him in a TV series personally, just because he basically costs a lot of money to make happen, right? Because it's it's space and all this other stuff. But he could show up in things. He could show up in lanterns, right? He could conceivably. He could show up in Supergirl. In fact, I believe that Supergirl is probably where we see him. So, and Supergirl, they locked script a while ago, and they're going to start filming this year. In fact, probably in a few months. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I believe starts filming sometime in the next 3 or 4 months. So what I believe is supposed to be releasing next year,
Mm.
2026. So that might be why they are, naming Lobo, naming Momoa as Lobo, because he is going to show up in the movie, which I think is really cool. So DC Studios and the DCU is steaming ahead. They got a big name. I'm certain he is not the first of the big names that we're going to start seeing show up. Lottie, we may see signings or announcements the way we used to see for Marvel Studios. Remember when Marvel would be like, "Oh ho ho, we got this big name over here. Kate Blanchett is coming to the MCU." Stuff like Anthony Hopkins. Remember that? So we may be
Mm-hmm.
seeing that for DC, because DC Studios is kind of the new game in town. Marvel's sort of,
Yeah.
they're a little on the wane. James Gunn and DC Studios, they're kind of on the rise, especially off of the buzz off of the Superman trailer, and how people are, if they're saying, is that going to be the benchmark for quality in this new universe? We're going to see. So very excited, and good on Jason Momoa. Can't wait to see him ride around on his hog and drink beer and basically be whatever the fuck Aquaman was in that last movie, but like now in space. So so moving on from DC, let's talk about Sony Pictures and the Spider-Man-less universe that they tried to foist on us. Starting with Venom, ending with Craven. There was an article out about the fact that Craven is a flop, surprise, and that it basically is the dead end of the Sony Spider-Man-less universe, and that they are instead going to be focusing on getting Spider-Man 4 out the door. Lottie, also, as fallout from this, a man, I didn't know who he was, but now I do. Palak, I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right. Patel was the executive who was in charge of, making, or, in charge of all of these Spider-Man-less movies that they were putting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he has stepped down from the studio after, Craven released and failed hard. And we also get more news that, or behind the scenes news, that at anytime they wanted to, you could have been hearing thwip, 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 and seen a Spider Man swinging around in any one of these movies. Because Sony did not have any restrictions on using a Spider Man in their live action outings that weren't MCU related. They could have used them at any time, but they chose not to. So, Lottie, there's a lot going. There's a lot here. Someone's head is rolling because of this. The Sony Spider-less universe is dead, and they could have used Spider-Man at any time. What do you think, man?
Listen, man. You know that meme of like the guys doing the peace sign over the grave?
Yeah.
That's me. Thank God. Sony, how the fuck did you get? How the fuck did you see how well Spider-Man No Way Home did? It said, you know what? Let's make movies without Spider-Man in it. There you go. They don't want fucking Spider-Man. Get him out of here. All right. All right, Sony. Okay, fucking Sony. Hey, let's just be honest. The Venom movies, they were like everyone's like, oh, they were successful. Eh, you had a movie that made almost $2 billion, and you saw the Venom movies and said that's our fucking strategy right there. Damn it. Yeah, just tap dancing on that grave. Sometimes things have to die for good to happen. And all these movies, thank you for your service and for dying on the cross. So we can you can save us from our sins, Sony's sins.
I don't really know. I mean, I already told you, I thought Craven was fine. In fact, I thought it was better than pretty much most of those other movies. A lot of people don't agree with me. You know, my younger sister, who does like to go out and watch these movies, let's just say has a somewhat less discerning taste for movies. But she likes these things, and she was like, "Hey, it was pretty good." I think that if you go into this, you'll probably feel that way about Craven. But yeah, it's not really near any of the good Marvel movies. It's not even near some of the good DCEU movies. Um, and a lot that's pretty much the way the whole thing went. It is baffling to me that they didn't have um Spider-Man in these. Why would they? I don't understand why they would do that. You know,
Y-
you
You had
any
Tobey
any
Maguire
one of
and
these
Andrew Garfield
any one of these
wanted to come
movies,
back.
yeah, and they wanted Andrew Garfield would have come back. So we instead of getting Amazing Spider-Man 3, we got these things. Now, all you people that were shitting on Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, first of all, you bandwagon jumpers, because when he showed up in Spider-Man No Way Home, people were riding on his dick. On Andrew Garfield. Yeah, man. So all you bandwagon jumpers that were like, "Oh, he's so great" and everything like that, y'all were shitting on Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies unfairly, I might say. Now, in retrospect, literally, they are better than every fucking movie in the Spider-less universe. Every Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 are better than every one of those movies. Fight
Yeah.
me. People shit on Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's better than all of those movies. Yes, including Venom, which is the best one that they made. And they could have had Garfield would have showed up. But no. I'm honestly, I'm just like, what was the reasoning? I just really want to know. You got Spider-Man. You have the ability to use Andrew Garfield. His whole thing is, I fight these guys, right? And at no point does he go and punch Eddie Brock in the face, right? That never happens. And
The most useless post-credit scene of all time.
I mean, so he never interacts with Venom. Venom's whole reason for being is Spider-Man, right? Okay, cool. You get Madam Web. You get Morbius, right? Morbius is the one that makes the most sense not having Spider-Man, but it's in New York City. It's in New York. You could have had him flipping around, you know? But nope. You want him to fight another fucking vampire. Okay. Madam Web is the most egregious. And yes, it's a period piece. I get it. It's a period piece. You know? Peter was just being, Peter Parker from the MCU is just being born. That's what they want you to believe. He's just being born. Right? So somehow they save him. Okay, whatever. It's still egregious because the movie says these girls are going to be, they're teenagers at the time. Within a few years, they're going to be flipping around New York City, thwipping too. So it makes no fucking sense. You make a period piece for no reason, and I'm not kidding. Lottie, you haven't seen Madam Web yet. You You've studiously
Probably
avoid.
never will see.
You've studiously avoided it. I'm telling you, if they had done the movie again, and instead of making it a period piece, and from 2003 or wherever the fuck it was, if instead they had just done it in modern day and taken out the whole Spider-Man as a baby bit, it would have improved the movie because then you could have had actual Spider-Man show up and okay. All right. Craven can get away with not having Spider-Man, but like at that point it's just like you guys are being stubborn. Lottie, is that I feel like they're just being stubborn. We're gonna go our own way and fuck Spider-Man. And it's just the dumbest thing. I don't in another universe.
In another
In
universe.
another universe, this is the most successful franchise in comic book movie history. But not in this timeline, goddammit.
No.
Screw it. Fuck just
Little
fucking
James
every
on is great.
how this needs to be studied. How to take an IP and just ruin it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Remember what used to be the kind of the poster child for ruining IPs, like a comic book IP, was those terrible like the Ghost Rider movies and Daredevil and Elektra. You remember that? And Fox was they were the culprits of fucking up the Marvel IP, right? They have been eclipsed. If you go back and watch those, you're like, you know what? Is it that bad?
The thing about it is the Fox universe, they were bad movies, but at least they were fucking entertaining. You know what I mean? At least they were not good movies, but at least they were entertaining. So you can look back on those movies with some form of nostalgia. Some of these Sony movies, man. Like I tell people this all the time. I've watched Venom 2 multiple times. I still could barely fucking remember that movie. I barely remember anything from that movie. I've seen that movie 3 times, man. I barely remember anything from that movie because it's not entertaining. It's not an entertaining movie.
Yeah, all I know is next time there's gonna be carnage. Oh, my God, it's you know how hard you have to work. You know how hard you have to work to make me say, you know what? I think I'm too hard on Daredevil. I think I was too hard on Daredevil. I was too hard on Ghost Rider. You know, actually, when you think about it, sad. And the odd thing is, I like about 3 or 4 of those movies, but Jesus, like you could have done so much more. So anyway, that being said, Sony's not going to sell their rights back. Stop thinking that, nerds. It's not happening. You don't sell the golden goose. That's just stupid. They're not going to do it. So just chill. Well, we'll see. We'll see what they're talking about with Spider-Man 4 whenever that happens. So, Lottie, that leads us to talking about our favorite superhero things of 2024, which there's a surprisingly a lot of stuff came out superhero related in 2024. Movie wise, not really. Remember at the start of the year, I was like, well, this is really Sony's year to win or to lose, and they lost. So they were lost. They did not carry the standard very well, but coming in for the save, superhero TV, and surprisingly, superhero video games. It wasn't that. No, Spider-Man 2 was last year, but this year's but this year we did have a video game show up that was definitely is very popular right now. We also had a ton of animation. We had some live action stuff that was really good, and we had what I would consider probably the best trailer this year to me, or 2024. So we're going to talk about all that. But before we talk about the best, let's talk about the worst. We were just shitting on it. Lottie, allow me to shit on it some more. Earlier in the year, me and Corey Roy reviewed this on the channel, and I was very angry about it. Lottie, the more you ever watch something, and you're just like, I didn't like this, but you just kind of move on. But the more you think about it, it starts kind of like, invading your brain, and you start thinking about it, you're like, wait a minute, hold on. And then the more you think about it, you're like, no, this is some bullshit. Man, god damn, this sucked. Like, the more you think about it, the more you realize, like, no, this is some trash. What the fuck was I thinking about? That is Madam Web for me. Madam Web to me is the kind of bad that sneaks up on you. It's like food poisoning, right? You eat the food and you're like, oh, that was all right. That wasn't terrible. It tasted fine, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. And then, like, a few hours you're on the toilet and you're peeing out your butt, right? That is what Madam Web is to me. It is. The only thing that I wish is that a lot of you had seen it so you could share in this pain with me, my friend. It's god awful. It's one of the damn worst superhero things I've ever seen. It's not Catwoman, but it's trying. It is trying so hard to be Catwoman. I don't know, Lottie. I want you to see this so you can understand what I'm talking about. It's god awful, and it's so bad. It's just bad in retrospect. It was bad when I was watching it. It's bad when I watch memes of it. It's bad when I see, like, hear someone quote it. It's just terrible. Anyway, that's the worst of the year. So let's talk about good stuff. Lottie, I do want to talk about this is it's not TV or movies or whatever. It's just something I enjoyed this year. And that is and this actually something that went from kind of like a little project by an illustrator that turned into an actual comic book covers. So Mark Brooks is he's a longtime comic book artist. He's been in the game since like the 90s, I want to say. Really good. He doesn't do interiors as much anymore. He used to do, like, Spider-Man and all that stuff back in the day. He doesn't do interiors as much anymore, but he was basically, it's kind of like I don't want to say fan project, but like an artist, challenging themselves. He wanted to do Marvel characters, but in the style of Disney, because Disney owns Marvel and all that stuff. So like the 90s Disney style. So he would do that. He was just basically doing different characters in this, and he started out with X-Men because X-Men have a ton of characters, and this was all around the time that X-Men 97 was kind of like going off. So he did a whole series of X-Men villains and heroes in the style of like 90s, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, that style of art. And it's really cool. You should check it out. Mark Brooks art on Threads and on Instagram, so you can see his whole thing. But also, if you want to buy them at the stores, and I'll show some of those on here. But it's just a really cool thing that I noted at the when he first started doing it, and now he's moved into his most recently. He's still doing it. He did the Dark Avengers. That's what he was working on. But so you should, Lottie, definitely check that out. I just think it's a cool thing. I love when like two things I like. Everyone loves the 90s Disney stuff. Everyone loves X-Men and stuff. Seeing them come together and seeing a stylized version of them is really cool. So that's my favorite, like, non-superhero, like, TV show or whatever thing that I liked. How about this though, Lottie? Let's talk about this. I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying that Superman trailer is peak. Am I wrong? I feel like I'm right about
good.
that. It was
good.
It is peak. And look, I know everyone loves saying peak, like it's it's a thing that people like to say nowadays. I don't know how much meaning it has, but peak to me, this is the apex. You have you have reached the Mount Everest of superhero trailers, and I swear I'm telling you, this trailer is amazing. Lottie, I mean, when's the last time you saw a superhero trailer, movie trailer that made you feel like this?
It's been a long time, man. Endgame?
Okay, no, Endgame that's a good call actually, but
It's been a long time that because I don't want to, because people say, what about Spider-Man and, Across the Spider-Verse and all that stuff? I I can say this. The reason why I say like Endgame or Infinity War did this to me because those movies were like so hyped up. The Superman trailer, I went into that thing with zero expectations and then got goosebumps halfway through. The 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 I went from watching it being cynical to literally chanting Superman. Listen, it making me that is probably the best trailer I've seen in movie comic books in the last 5 to 6 years. Dead ass.
oh,
Dead
definitely,
ass.
yeah. I mean, definitely, it did what it's supposed to. Like trailers supposed to get you hyped, right? The thing the reason why I know this one was great, in fact, was one of the absolute best trailer, superhero movie trailers, is because people who normally didn't react to this shit started reacting to it. Because that's what remember X-Men 97 was like that, where people that normally they were video game streamers, right? Or they react to music, or they react, you know what I'm saying? You started seeing them like, oh shit, let's react to this car. That's what they were doing with this trailer. People that I would watch them for reacting to, I don't know, music or whatever, they were like, oh, I'm reacting to this trailer. It hit so many things. It was going off so hard that this is how good this trailer was. It was so good, and people were like, I'm excited, right? And they started seeing these people shitting on it, and they're like, who are these fucking weirdos? Right? Did you start seeing these people like, why are y'all telling me this is garbage? I don't understand. And they didn't realize they were running across Snyder Bros. That's how deep this is going. I think it's an excellent trailer. Um, it did what it needed to do. It makes me anticipate the movie coming out, and I loved it. I'm gonna just say it's one of the best it's saying something that one of the best superhero things of 2024 is a trailer. Pretty damn cool. So, speaking of X-Men 97, Lottie, it could be the best superhero thing of the year. Am I wrong? We're not ranking anything here, but if we had to rank it, I think this is probably number one. What do you think?
I'm thinking.
Oh, I know we're going through more stuff, but like of all the things all the superhero stuff you saw in 2024,
That and Penguin are very close.
in terms of being a purely comic book thing, I'm not taking anything away from Penguin, but Penguin pretty much could have been The Sopranos. Not taking anything away from that, but
If you're
pure comic book like
it's X-Men, but overall superhero related things, it has to be the Penguin. Like X-Men 97, it is X-Men and Penguin are in their own stratosphere. X-Men 97 and Penguin are number one, in my opinion, for years. Like I'm trying to even like last year it'll be number one. The year before that they'll be number one. It's just the fact that both of these bangers came out the same fucking year. and it's like very, very close. But I'm only slightly putting Penguin above because Penguin gave me the most guttural feeling I ever had at a fucking show's ending, where I'm like, I want this motherfucker to die. Like, I've never felt so betrayed as a watcher of a show
I still haven't
than
seen all
watching
of it, by the way.
when you finish watching Penguin, you'll see why it's my number one.
Right.
This is why I said I know you're like my brother. You haven't fully watched Penguin yet, so you're not going to put it in your number, bro. The way the show ends, Jesus. But yeah, X-Men '97 was freaking amazing. X-Men '97 is the best animated superhero thing. That's probably almost if it's not better than Batman, the animated series of Superman is right next to them.
Right. And
I'll put it literally right next to Justice League. As much as I love the original Justice League, well, not the original 2003 Justice League, this is right near it. Like, I loved X-Men '97. The discussions that we had during the week about that show. The only thing that I wish they had the balls to do, but they didn't do, maybe they'll do it later, is they hyped it up, and you know what I'm talking about. They fucking hyped it up, and they didn't do it. Was Onslaught. They hyped up. Everyone thought it was gonna be Onslaught, man. People who don't even know X-Men stuff were all saying, yeah, Onslaught, because they were saying this is. I was like, okay, Onslaught's coming. Nope, didn't happen. Damn.
Yeah, they did okie doke us with that. I loved X-Men '97. Honestly, X-Men '97, I love it for two reasons. One, amazing show that delivered everything I wanted from an X-Men show. And in fact, over-delivered more than I was expecting, right? Even with that Onslaught thing. Really kind of, played to the fact that I am an X-Men fan from way back in the day. And a lot of cool stuff involving characters I love happened. That's one. Two, because of the show and how much it affected everyone, it basically helped us blow up on on social media by connecting with a bunch of people that were also into this show and thereby were into Marvel movies and DC and animation, all that. And I really got to know a bunch of people that are really cool. And it helped a couple of my tweets go off, or threads or whatever go off because of it. So yes, it is near and dear to my heart. I think it's a really great show. I will also say another great animated show that came and went without enough fanfare, in my opinion, but should have had a lot more if they had released it week to week. And that is Batman Cape Crusader, which is an amazing show. From the creators of the Batman the Animated Series. And for some stupid ass reason, Amazon just like, I'll have all of them at once. Cool. I sat and watched it, but we should have been talking about it almost as much as X-Men '97, in my opinion. Oh, it was a great one, right? Am I right, Lottie?
Yes.
I'm just.
Love the Batman. I love the Batman Cape Crusader. There was a lot of times where you can just hear the Batman theme in the background. Dun, 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 dun. I could just hear it when he was like doing the slow walk. I love that show.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great throwback to not just the '90s, but also old school Batman. Really enjoyed that one. Let's talk about the Penguin. Lottie, you were saying a lot of things about the Penguin. I haven't finished watching it. Y'all don't get on me. I haven't gotten to the end of it. I'm halfway through it. And halfway through it, I was like, oh, this is an amazing show. Right? It's an amazing show. I will also say, again, Kristen Milioti robbed. I don't believe that people were better. There was somebody better than her because she was ridiculous. But there's still an opportunity at the Emmys. But they're gonna rob her at the Emmys too because this is a superhero thing. So I mean, Lottie, I mean, you've said plenty, but like, what I'm saying, like, this was a great show. And we're getting another season, I think. I think we're probably gonna get, if Matt Reeves ever gets around to it. So maybe in 5 years we'll get another season, Lottie.
Hopefully.
Another great movie, well, I guess this was supposed to be Sony's year. It's Marvel's year, even though they only put out one fucking movie. That movie is Deadpool and Wolverine, which, if I'm not mistaken, it joined the $1 billion club, right? It kicked ass all over the world, and everyone had a great time with it. This could have gone wrong in so many ways, Lottie. Right? Am I wrong? This could have done some stupid shit. It could have just been a cameo fest. It could have just been, a lot of inside jokes or whatever. And there's plenty of all of that stuff. But it never forgets to tell the emotional story of Wade Wilson and his kind of like, his found family, his insecurities, his internal struggles. And they did something that most people didn't think was going to work, especially when they heard about it a couple years ago. They brought back Wolverine, even though Logan is considered to be the great send-off for the Wolverine character. They still brought him back and made it make sense and still gave him a character arc that was worth listening to and watching also. So Lottie, I mean, I feel like you're going to agree with me. This is one of the best superhero movies we've had, but definitely the best superhero movie this year.
Yep. And I don't want the world to see me because I don't. Yeah, this movie was great. It's a much needed win that Marvel. It was a much needed win for Marvel. Like, man, this movie, like, I still remember going to watch it the first day it came out and how packed the movie theater was. Like, it was so thick. And the amount of Gen X and millennials in that movie theater was ridiculous. That's all that was there. All I saw was a bunch of men and women in their 40s and 30s in that movie theater. And the part at the end where they were doing the homage to the Fox movie theater, the Fox universe, the Fox Marvel Fox universe. There was a lot of people getting teary-eyed, man. There's a lot of people because Ryan Reynolds just knows how to. He knows how to manipulate us. Us millennials / Gen X / millennial. What's it called? Fans. He just knows how to get the raw emotion out of us. And everyone who tries to tell me all this stuff that I didn't really like it, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. I just every time when someone tells me that, I'm just like, boo. You're one of those boring people, aren't you? You're like, well, I don't. You want the movie to have a Titanic storyline, man? Get the. I know you've ran into people like that are just so exhausting to try to tell you how the movie was just not a good movie, and you're just like you're one of those people that wants the movie to have like that has the storyline of Old Yeller or the Titanic. Get out of my face, man! Jesus, you're the reasons why these superhero movies are not doing so well because these movies are less trying to entertain us and trying to be an Academy Award winning movie. No, just entertain us, man. Damn. Yeah, it just didn't make sense. How did they get to a universe like that?
I mean, they took the time to explain it. I love that they incorporated a TVA, which, because I love Loki, so they brought in the TVA and everything. And look, you didn't have to understand any of it. They explained it in the movie. That's the whole point. But look, yes, it was a trope filled. Yes, it was cameo filled. Yes, there was a lot of crass humor. There's all of these things are true, right? There's senseless excuse me, there's senseless violence. There is, you know, a lot of cussing. It was for a Marvel movie, right?
Hmm.
There's also a lot of shitting on Marvel. You notice there's a lot of them talking shit about Marvel too, but they kid because they love. Um, I mean, we got to see Wade Wilson's character arc come to a conclusion. We're not going to get any more Deadpool movies. Let's just accept that, right? We're not going to get any more, which is cool. His character arc from Deadpool to Deadpool and Wolverine is complete, and now he can just pop in and out of the MCU as needed. That's cool. It's I'm glad that there was a complete, you know, the complete character cycle. I'm glad that they did fan service, but they also remembered that they had to connect with regular audience members too. All good, and I'm glad it broke $1 billion just to prove that they knew what they were doing. So, all that being said, great movie, best superhero movie of 2025, and by a mile too. We also had another one. This one you did not watch, Lottie, which is fine. But it is Agatha All Along, which is a follow up to WandaVision. A show that, in my opinion, should have had way more people watching it. But the reason why more people didn't watch it, because not a lot of people watching the MCU on Disney Plus. And the proof of this is, you know how you know that people don't watch the MCU on Disney Plus? How many people watch Multiverse of Madness? They're like, what the fuck is Wanda doing? Right? A lot of people are like, what the fuck is Wanda doing? Why is she a bad guy now? Where is this coming from? Also, people that wrote that, they didn't watch WandaVision either. So, fortunately, it sort of worked. But if you didn't watch it, you kind of missed out on some dope ass Marvel storytelling. That's also going to springboard into more things in the future, which is introducing Billy Kaplan, aka Wiccan. We got to see Death for the first time. Lady Death is in this show. We got to see witchcraft, and it's been explored more. And we got to see more of Agatha Harkness. She's not just the mustache twirling villain from WandaVision. She actually has a backstory, and there's this whole stuff that's going on, and it's going to lead into like Young Avengers or Champions or whatever. Really great. I really love seeing Catherine Hahn get to. She's a great talent, and she just gets to vamp it up as Agatha Harkness. Um, I forget the guy's name. I hate that I forget his name, but he plays Billy, aka Wiccan. Joe Locke is his guy's name. He's really great, and I can't wait to see more of him. He's a young guy. He's going to be in the MCU going forward for years now. Sashir Zameda, which Lottie, you know her. She was on Saturday Night Live about 10 years ago. The black woman that was on Saturday Night Live. She's amazing in it. Patty LuPone is great. So it's just a fun show, and it was done on a good budget. So Marvel actually can make Marvel TV shows without breaking the bank. So I'd love to see more of stuff like this. Um, and another live action thing that I consider one of the best things we saw all year, if for no other reason, because it was just foreshadowing what 2025 is going to be like in our real life. It's The Boys season 4. Lottie, I hate that it's so fucking. I hate that this show. It's so good. I hate all of the people I'm supposed to hate in it. Right? They suck, and I want them to die in a fire. But also, they're like, this is what your next year is going to be. Like, Lottie, I'm not saying he predicted the Boys season 4 predicted Trump's victory, but didn't it kind of?
Yep. Yeah, it did. Kind of now that you mention it, it kind of did, and it was just out of nowhere. Where it was just like, yeah, you won. What? Yeah, you won. Oh, that's
Yeah,
what it
and
feels like.
except this time they can't blame it on black women. This black women ain't had nothing to do with this guy winning. So it was, I like the connections it had and made to Gen X, not Gen X, Gen V, which was a very good show that is coming back this year. I like seeing more about Billy and everything, what he's willing to, he's willing to do. Hey, surprise, he's sort of a villain too. He's just a less villainous villain than Homelander. Seeing all of the various characters, kind of, some of them not wasn't as great. Like the whole Frenchie thing was kind of weird, but uh, it's a good season. And it left the good guys in a terrible place for the fifth and final season, which we'll get in the next year. So all around, I thought it was a great season. Really looking forward to the next one. So finally, Lottie, last of the best of the year, and you haven't played this. That's fine. You can tell me what your brother thinks about it. Marvel Rivals, the superhero video game of the moment. Not that there's a ton of superhero video games, but it definitely is a thing. It's on my feed. It's showing up in my YouTube feed. It's showing up definitely on my Threads feed. Several people I follow play it pretty regularly. I don't, because I'm not a gamer so much, but Lottie, so I really want to rely on Lottie, your impressions of it, not as a player, but as, I know you're in the circles where you talk about video games a lot and your brother plays. What's the consensus about this game?
Thank you for taking down the shitty piece of shit Overwatch 2. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy that that competition in video game exists again. We What has made this generation of video gaming kind of not very good is that a lot of people are too scared to compete against what they consider the top dogs. So the top dogs make shitty games. Like, for example, Sims, The Sims 4. It's a shitty simulation game that people still play because there's no game competing against it. And Zoe's about to come out and beat the shit out of The Sims, and I can't wait for that to happen. Um, the same thing with this game, Overwatch. Overwatch was the game that everyone played. It was a shitty game that was terrible, and Marvel Rivals came in and it's killed it. Overwatch is dead, and the people who are not trying to accept that Overwatch is dead are the people who spent thousands of dollars on the game and just can't accept that they wasted their money on a shitty game and they should move over to Marvel Rivals. And I'm happy for that. I'm happy that Marvel is finally using their IP to actually do stuff with it because let's just be honest. I've talked about this with you that outside of movies, DC beats the shit out of Marvel in everything. Outside of movies, Marvel has not even comes close to DC in anything else. TV shows, animated, video games, like they Marvel for some reason. Disney is just very, in my opinion, kind of dumb with their IP because you can't count Spider-Man because Spider-Man, yeah, it's under the Marvel umbrella, but it's owned by Sony. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yep.
they just done nothing with their IP. Finally, they're doing something with their IP that's going to finally make them money. And I'm happy for that. It's going to make Marvel want to start making more video games, start reaching out to video game companies to make more video games with their IP instead of just letting it sit and rot. That's the good thing about this game. It's a proof of concept. You know.
Yeah. Well, what's your brother think about it? I know
Oh, he
he's
loves the game. He plays it. He plays it quite often. Me, I'm not a fan of the genre. It's nothing to do with I don't. I think the game is bad. I'm just not a hero shooter, guy. I just don't like those type of games. But I'm happy to see what other people play it. My brother, he plays it. He streams it. He's loud and having fun with it. I'm happy to see that. Other people I know that love the game telling me, "Oh man, you need to play it." And I'm happy. I'm happy for that because if you're gonna play a hero shooter with actual real heroes.
Oh yeah. And I think the thing is that it gives everyone an opportunity to play their favorite character. 'Cause that's the thing about Marvel as an IP. See, the thing about Overwatch or League of Legends or whatever, they got to make up new characters, right? That nobody fucking knows about, and then you just got to like pick one and go with it, right? No, Marvel Rivals is just like, no, Spider-Man and Captain America. At the very least, Spider-Man and Captain America and Black Panther. Bam, go play them, right? Or maybe you watched all the movies. You want to play all the guys from the movies, right? Or maybe you've seen the cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Immediately, the hook is I know who these characters are. Ooh, I get to swing around as Spider-Man. I get to fly as Iron Man. I get to throw the shield like Cap. I get to shoot motherfuckers like Punisher, right? All of this stuff. And it's a easy to not the game, the controls are easy, right? It's pretty straightforward. Some characters are harder, so you got to do a few more things, but most characters are pretty straightforward about how to work them. Then it's just strategy, right? Then it's just playing with people. Then it's just the community aspect of it. And it's smart. And it's free. The other thing, it's free to play. You can spend $0 on this game. And just play casually and you'll be cool, right? Now, maybe if you want to be better or whatever, you buy a season pass or whatever. And also, apparently, they're doing season passes different too because the season passes don't expire. You can play them until you completed them. And so, you can choose the season pass that you have active so that you can complete them. I mean, it's very user friendly. It's new user friendly. It's gamer friendly, and maybe it's making better decisions than some of these other ones. And it's full of Marvel heroes. That's the big thing. So that's why I say it's one of the best superhero media of the last year, definitely. And I'm glad that it exists. And I'm glad people are having fun with it. So, all that being said, those are all great things for this year. It's a pretty good, damn good year. 2025 is looking bright as well. And we're definitely looking forward to all that because we're nerds and we love superhero media. We definitely do. And we just want to have a good time consuming it. So, that being said, that's all of our news, all our discussion for today. But what did you guys think about it? What did you think about what we had to say? You know what to do. Get down to the comment section and leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram and on Threads. And it's super_not_funny show on TikTok. And while you're doing that, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All of that good stuff helps grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast and all of the other content that we put out. And of course, I can't do this by myself. I need my good friend Lottie to share all of his insights about this nerdy goodness. So, Lottie, where can they reach you on social media?
You can always find me on my Instagram and YouTube channel, which are both named Anu Kinihun. Again, it's Anu Kinihun, ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN.
That's right, everyone. Go show Lottie some love. As always, help him get that subscriber count up, like you did for us. We're over 500 now. But also watch our videos. It's not just enough to have subscribers. We need people to watch our content too. But that's on us too. We're gonna do more interesting content that'll make you want to watch. So keep an eye out on that. I will say that we got an upcoming new project coming out. It is called the Marvel Infinity Rewatch Podcast. That Lottie is the first guest on the first episode. Is going to be coming out I believe it's on Sunday. So this coming Sunday, we're going to be releasing the very first episode where we are watching Iron Man, the very first Iron Man, and talking about, this, the seminal movie, you could say, the Kickstarter for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I would even argue the Kickstarter for the modern superhero renaissance in movies. It is definitely part of the reason why we're here on this podcast, and we had a good time talking about it, Lottie. I think you'll be very interested in the podcast episode when they release it. It is going to be on podcasting platforms and on YouTube. So, go watch Iron Man, come back and listen to us talk all about that great movie. So, and we appreciate y'all checking that out, checking out the other stuff that we put out on on the channel, helping us get the subscriber count up, let people know who we are, what we're about, what this content is all about. And we're pushing on towards 1,000 subscribers. So all that being said, this is episode 166 of the Supercast. Thanks for joining us. Come back next week. We got plenty more to talk about. So until then, I've been Mo, your comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.